Hey, good morning, guys. This is the Recovery Channel podcast. My name is Dr. Rob Kelly, the addiction doctor, along with Jennifer Lovery, coming live from San Antonio and Sedona today. What a great, fantastic day. Welcome to the show, guys. Great to see you live on Facebook and YouTube right now and going to a bunch of platforms tonight. Jen, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm well. I'm doing really well. How are you?
Living the dream instead of dreaming of living. It's overcast here in San Antonio, so we like that as opposed to the 100 and something days that we used to have during the summer. So yeah, looking good, feeling good, and looking forward to this show. Well,
it was gorgeous all weekend long. My dog had a fight with a cactus, and the cactus won. So that was a little traumatic for all of us. And it's supposed to snow this week. So we'll have to see how that is. I thought I was leaving the snow, but apparently some flurries are showing up. So I'm actually looking forward to white snow against the red rocks of.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, funny thing has happened this week is Jen butt dialed me. And I was freaked out at the beginning because when I answered the phone, she was screaming. And I'm like, Jen, are you okay? You okay? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at my wife going, what should we do? Should we call the police? I don't know. She said, where is she? Oh yeah, I don't know. And then I heard shouting a dog, and then there's something about a coyote. And I thought, oh, thank God for that. I thought she was being attacked by somebody.
Oh my God, that is so hilarious.
I know. Freaking out for a bit.
I thought for sure I was going to be listening to my dog be dragged away by a coyote, and I just could not even imagine that. So we have a guest. Her name's Jennifer, who's coming on the show. What I want to say before we start, Dr. Rob, is that this conversation could be a bit triggering for people. So to please be mindful of anything that you hear that may be triggering, or just bring up some old feelings. And if you need to, I mean, I hate to have you turn it off. And please do if it's too much for you.
Yeah, and if you find it is, guys, don't forget messages on Facebook. We're always here to chat to. If you need me and Jen to chat to 15 minutes, not going to cost you anything. Just get on and we'll sort you out during the day and have a chat with you. Well, apart from that, guys, Jennifer Corona's on the show. So stick around. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the show, guys. My name is Dr. Rob Kelly, the addiction doctor, along with Jennifer Lovely. This is the Recovery Channel podcast. Welcome to everyone who's joining us live here from San Antonio and Sedona. Welcome, Jennifer Corona. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good.
Trying to figure this thing out.
Well, welcome to our show, the Recovery Channel, where it's all about how we recover. So, talk to me a little bit about what you do today and how you help survivors of abuse. And then we'll get into the other stuff.
I have a lot of women that reach out to me. One of the biggest platforms has been Facebook. I'm in multiple groups that assist victims. So when I share my story in there, it kind of opens that door to let them, go and start talking. And I've had also a lot of women in ministry that reach out to me for victims of abuse also. And we just start sharing, stories, and they're able to open up and see that they're not alone, and there is help out there.
So where did everything start to go wrong or start to go dark for you? I mean, what age was you and what happened?
Actually, it started as a child. I was only 4 years old when I began to get abused, all the way up until 2017. So it was over 30 years that I was abused.
Wow. And I take it that's from different people?
Yes. 13 men in 30 years would cause me pain 700 times. Little did I know.
Wow. 700 times. Wow.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, it started when you were 3 or 4, abuse from uncle. Is that correct?
Yes. It started with one uncle. My mom and dad, they worked a lot. So they would drop me off with my grandparents. You don't think someone's going to harm your child. That's the last thing that's sitting there in the back of your mind, So it started with one uncle. By the time I was 13, it escalated. It became 2 uncles and 2 cousins at that time.
Mm. And then that was until what age? I'm sorry.
13. And then I attempted to kill myself at that age.
Mm.
That's crazy. No child should go through that. I remember once my mom and dad were both working and used to drop me off with the babysitters. You brought back such a memory right there, Jennifer, that I had forgotten about for years and years. Was that my mom used to drop me off at a babysitter, and I must have been crying or something every time she picked me up. But she noticed one day when she undressed me, there was burn marks on the back of my back, and my babysitter used to burn me with a cigarette. Several times, and mom didn't notice it for a few days, but when she did, it was horrible. And that subconscious has been haunting me. I mean, obviously there's a lot of trauma there for me, so goodness knows what trauma you've been through. Do you still struggle with that today, or have you dealt with all that stuff?
No, I actually do still deal with some issues of PTSD because I was raped just a year ago. So it set me back into that shutdown mode, not wanting anybody near me, not wanting to leave my house, isolation, depression, anxiety multiplied,
Yeah, definitely. One more question, Jen. Sorry. I've got a real hard question for you, Jennifer, that I'm sure our audience want me to ask is why do you think that you keep attracting these men that treat you this way? I mean, what do you think all that's about?
Actually, I thought love and pain were one and the same. I started having PTSD at just 8 years old. I got stuck in that dissociative disorder mode that I would detach each time something was going on, and I kind of got stuck in that. And it went on into preteens, teenage, 20s, 30s, and it was just something that stayed with me.
I hear you. As the story, my past has a lot of abuse in it as well, and I'm curious at what is the thing that you want to share with other women about the abuse, besides that they don't deserve it, but what is the thing that you have learned the most from this experience?
It's not our fault. The things that happen, we seem to self-blame so much because that's what I did. I felt as though I could never do anything right. Something was always wrong with me. Maybe I deserved it. Maybe I was what the person told me before that person, So there was that brainwashing, and I had to reprogram myself. I had to unlearn that pain and love were not the same. Someone degrades you or belittles you. That's not love. That's totally not love. They are narcissists out there. I didn't understand what that was until maybe 7 years ago, but it was like, I'm worth more. I'm worth being loved. I'm worthy of that happiness, the joy, the things that I've been denied all my life. No, I'm worth that. So they're worth those things too.
Yeah. I hear that.
I know the stuff we go through in the past, sometimes it can be a great lesson for the future. And I guess everything you've been through, as horrible as it was, puts you in a great position today to help other people. Because when they come and go, hey, Jennifer, you don't understand because, and you go, oh, sit down, let me tell you about this. Do you find yes. That's really helpful?
Yes. Yeah.
So let's take you back. I'm curious about how I want you to walk me through, you became a captive.
Yes. Actually, he was portraying himself as a friend. I was going through an abusive marriage at the time, and I left my ex-husband after he had beat me so many times and raped me. I was tired. I was done. I knew that was not how marriage was supposed to be. He literally began to beat me from the day after we got married while we were still in the hotel on our honeymoon. So it was like, I own you. You're my property. Your dad gave you to me. Y'all don't believe in divorce. You're Christian. So you're not going nowhere. You're going to deal with it. And that's just the way it's going to be. So he began to literally beat me from the very next day. And when he would do it, his family would say, oh, what'd you do to upset him? So I was stuck in that mind frame. And so I had a friend
that 1,000 times. It's close. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm. I have ear damage to my ears, my nerves in my ears when he used to beat me so bad in my head. He would just get in the car and start punching me in my face, when he was angry. So I have nerve damage to my ears. I hear better out of the left than the right because the right was where he aimed most of the time. Yeah.
So knowing what you did, knowing what you know when you got married to him, I mean, and I know I'm not. There's no blame here, and I know the answer, but I know a lot of listeners will want to hear the answer for themselves because they're going through what you went through. Is the first day when the abuse started? Why the hell did you not get the hell out of there? Why don't you just walk away going, this is bad. This is shit. I'm not doing this anymore. I mean, why didn't you leave?
Because I felt I didn't have anywhere to go to. I mean, I think we're like 19, 20. I left my mom's when I was 18, right after my grandfather passed away. So I went with him, and he showed that he cared, but he literally did not change until the day after marriage. He was a sweetheart all up until that very last day. And he changed overnight. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what did I just do? And there were moments where he was nice, but most of the time he was ugly and he was mean. He was ruthless.
So you got out of a marriage and you found somebody that you thought was your friend.
Yeah. He was actually a friend of mine. I worked at the local gas station. And so he would always go in and, hey, how are you doing, Jen? And blah, 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 and I'm like, I'm good, So he started just coming and visiting. But what I didn't realize, they were monitoring. It was like 6 to 8 months before I became captive. They were trying to see how many people would come visit me, if my parents came, if I was gone, how long could I be gone? So they monitored all those things. And I was like, wow, it blew my mind when I finally figured it out. But yeah, they were paying attention because my family wouldn't come see me. I would walk home sometimes. The police department, I was really close with them. So a lot of the cops would give me rides. So that's one thing that they were like, oh, she's really close to the police department. And I thank God for those police officers. They're the ones who rescued me in the end. But yeah, he checked to see that, how long could she be gone? And I could be gone for days without anybody looking for me. So they monitored everything very well.
When you say they, who do you mean?
Him and he had friends, his reinforcements, I guess you could say. There were multiple friends in the neighborhood, and from where the store was all the way past my home. So they knew my regular walk. They knew my routine, what time she came into work, what time she leaves, if she walks at night. They saw all that. They monitored everything.
Wow.
So where did they take you and to be held captive?
Actually, it was his house. Slowly but surely, he began to change the bolts, the doorknobs to deadbolts, one by one, from the back of the house to the front. So I never knew what he was doing. And then once he began, I was like, why, oh, you changed the doorknobs? I'm like, okay. But I didn't think nothing of it at the time because I'm like, oh, maybe he's doing some changes to his house. I was naive and dumb. I was young. I didn't know. And so not until he began to lock the door where I was, and I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'll be right back. And I would hear the door lock, and I'm like, why is the door locked? And I would go try to open it, and he'd be like, I'll be right back. And I'm like, okay, well, why are you locking me in here? So it still didn't click yet what he was doing until I couldn't leave.
And when you were captive, was it just him that
it was about 12 guys there. No, it was just him though that did all the abuse, but it was about 12 guys there,
Wow.
And they would tell him because he began to torture me right away. And they were like, is she gonna talk? He's like, nah, she doesn't know nothing. She doesn't know nothing. Because they would rape women, they would, do robberies, and they would hide things in the attic, and I would see it, and it's like you didn't see nothing. I'm like, okay. And if I even would mention something, I would get hit.
So how long were you captive?
2 years, 730 days.
Wow, that's a long time to affect the mind, the psyche, the spiritual side. My goodness, you must have been a wreck. How did you get out there?
Actually, one day he came home, and they had went out, him and some of his friends, they had came back like 3 a.m. And I was pretending to be asleep. His thing was he hated rejection. If he's talking to you, you don't look away, you don't say anything, you just pay attention and speak when you're spoken to, that's it. And so when he came home, he was trying to get me to get up, and I'm like, trying to pretend like I'm asleep. And so he flips the whole bed while I'm on it still, because he's trying to wake me up, and I get up and I'm enraged because I'm like, why are you doing this? And so we began fighting. And he had been on a coke binge for 3 days already, so he couldn't feel nothing, and he was just out of it. And so we began fighting, and he throws me into a wall. He threw me into the wall where I kind of like went a little limp, but I was still fighting. I was still fighting him. And it wasn't until he pinned both my arms over my head like this that he was able to subdue me, because he used to apply pressure points as one of the torture methods to the inside of the wrist here. And when he did that, it would send my body into a temporary paralysis state. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't feel anything. I was just dead. My whole body was just like dead weight. And so when he did that, my body I just kind of like fell against the wall, you know, and it's just like that heavy weight just sitting there. And he hit me 3 times in my face. And what he did was my teeth played as a hidden blade. So the whole inside of my mouth was sliced open at this time. I had 2 black eyes. My nose was fractured, and I had bruising on 70% of my body. And the blood was just gushing out of my face. So after that, he throws me. I fall to the floor. He picks me up and throws me in the restroom. And he grabs my face and he puts it to the mirror and he says, "Look at what you made me do to you. Clean yourself up." And he begins to throw hot water at me. When he did that, he walks out of the room, and I just saw one window, and I jumped out that window, and I took off running to the payphone, drenched in blood from head to toe.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you have had so much pain in your life. And so did they arrest him?
I'm not sure. I know he barricaded himself in the home that day, but he turned himself in 3 days later. Yeah,
Did that go
because
to
he had
court?
burglar bars around his whole house.
Did he go to court?
I didn't. I don't know what happened with him. It's been 16 years now. Thank God that I've been free from that. But it's been 16 years, so I have no idea what's happened to him.
Wow, horrific story. Guys, this is the Recovery Channel podcast. Jennifer Corona's on. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. That was Life Over Addiction. Lance Wright is a transformational life coach. Let me help you navigate your life's path back to one of purpose and meaning, he says. The chains of shame and guilt no longer have to hold you back. Let's start a new conversation, says Lance. You can contact him a couple of ways. It's lifeoveraddiction.com. You can email him, info@lifeoveraddiction.com. But why not call him direct? His name is Lance Wright, 310-890-2337. That's 310-890-2337. Jennifer Corona's on the show. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer. What's your best and worst time of your life so far?
Now is my best time. I've moved. The relocation has been a blessing. Like I said, last year was the rape. I had only left my house 8 times last year. Since I've been where I'm at now, I leave my house 4 times a day, just walking my dogs. And I'm not flinching anymore. I'm not afraid of people. I'm not afraid to interact with strangers now. So now is my best time. Definitely now.
And the worst?
Captivity.
Okay.
At age 22 through 24. That was my worst. Yeah.
So tell me about your relationship with your parents.
My parents, I've always been a daddy's girl. So that's just the way it's always been. Me and my mom, we didn't have a really good relationship growing up. Now she's my best friend. I thank God for restoration and just restoring our whole relationship. Because I was a really ugly kid. I was ugly to my mother. But that's one of the things that we're mending now. And I thank God for that. Because growing up, I was just mean to her. And I didn't understand why until when I was 25 and lost in that world. My mom, my father, he went to grab me and I jerked back at him and I actually hit him and he fell, which was the first time I had put my hands ever. And the only time ever to put my hands on my dad, So when he got up, he said, "I don't know you. I don't know who this girl is." And I said, "Well, you thank your brothers for that." And that was the first time I came out about the sexual abuse from my uncles. And he looks at my mom and mom was white in the face. And I was like, "Hold on, you know something." And her only words were, "You were 4 years old. I didn't think you remembered." And so that.
Say it again. You were 4 years old. What?
And I didn't think you remembered is what came out of her mouth. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of backed up and I said, "Hold on, what did you just say?" And she says, "You were only 4. She goes, "We took you to the doctor. The doctor at that time said you weren't penetrated." I said, "Well, you know what? Thanks a lot." I said, "Because it continued till I was 13. And I'm pretty sure the doctor would have had a different outcome by then, Mom." I said, "But you did nothing when I was 4. So what made you think I was going to go to you again and again when you did nothing?" And so that's kind of where the basis of our relationship was. And it wasn't until she went to one of my speaking engagements at a college. And after I spoke, they had open mic, and they said, anybody who would like to speak can go ahead and come up. And as my mom's getting up, I'm like, hold on, someone get her, make her sit down. She's gonna embarrass me. Go get her. I don't want her going up there. Well, she made it to the front, and this is where my life with her changed. She said, I'm Jennifer's mother. She goes, and I just wanted to say, from a mother's point of view, it was hard watching her grow up and go through these things, but I'm proud of her. She goes, because if I only had as much courage as she did, it would have changed. She goes, me and all my sisters, there's 6 of them, we were victims of sexual abuse ourselves in the 60s by an uncle. So my mom did not know how to help herself, so she didn't know how to help me, which made a lot of sense to me then.
Wow. Crazy stuff. Is there any blame at all still? Do you blame anybody for what you've been through? Like mom and dad or friends or anything?
No, I don't blame anybody anymore, because the thing is, those who have abused me, maybe they didn't get the right help. Maybe they didn't know that it was abuse. Maybe they didn't know that it was wrong. Somewhere down the road, back then, they must have been abused as well. So they need help. But, nobody ever talks about those things. They're just ready to throw the book at somebody. And I'm like, but those people really, really need help.
Yeah, abuse people abuse. It's like,
Right.
when people do something crazy, they kill somebody, they cut them up and stuff like that. A lot of people go, they should be locked up, murderers. Like, there's something wrong with their thinking and behavior and trauma from the past. A normal person can't do that. So when you've abused as a child, it's sort of ingrained into you that that's love and hate at the same time. So not only the abused person abuses, but also the parents go back to the parents, as generations through. And you're right. No, I mean, the place I come from is everything was swept underneath the carpet. Nobody talks about anything. I was abused by the priest at school. I knew my mom must have known about it, but nothing was done. I was abused at the age of 19 by a friend across the road. My dad's friend, not my friend. He used to take me to a sauna every Friday, and we'd go in naked, and he'd always mess around and try and touch me jokingly. Oh, look at this! Oh, look at that! Many years ago, I said, "Did you know that the guy across the road is married and had 1 kid, but is gay?" And they said, "Oh yeah, we know." And I thought, how dare you put me through that shit when you knew that? You was handing me over to a predator. And you knew about it, and it was just, I had to do a lot of work around that. So I guess it's the same with you, Jennifer. It affects us for the rest of our life. And I want to ask you this, because I know I've just had one now when you just said that before about the childminder. And I remember my mom said they used to burn me with cigarettes. That's a flashback right there that I'm going to work on after we finish the show. You must have loads of them surely today.
Yes, I do. And I think that's where it comes into me writing so much. That was a gift God gave me when I was 12 years old. I started writing. I thought, I'm going to write it. I'm going to get it out, and it's not going to be there anymore. Oh, no, it was still there. But I began to grow in that area, in my writing skills. And so I actually have multiple books coming out this year. But it's like I just get stuck in that world, and I'm just putting it all out there. But I mean, it's good. It's therapy. But I still am very skeptical about people. I'm still very guarded. I don't go anywhere unless I really have to, and unless I know it's safe. I just have to be that way for right now, definitely.
Yeah, when I got together with my partner some years ago, he's told me, he said, you act like a abused animal. And so there's these ways of being that we've learned to cope.
Yeah.
We keep ourselves safe physically. We keep people at distance. Don't touch me too much. Don't give me too much attention. There's all these ways that we kind of keep people at bay. Talk to me about what ways that you have been able to practice your healing around this. Like, what modalities have you done to work through this abuse?
Before this past year, I would go a lot of places, meet a lot of people, and talk to. I would just interact with a lot of people. But since the rape a year ago, I just kind of shut down. I really did. I actually went suicidal the first month because I didn't want to be here anymore. Because that was actually the 84th time I've been raped in my life. So it set
Did you
me back
say
to
84?
yes, yep.
84?
In captivity, between the captor and my ex-husband. My ex-husband used to rape me. So between the two of them, they had raped me 83 times. And then I got raped for the 84th time, November 13th, 2019. So I just shut down completely.
I'm kind of speechless with that. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Ooh, okay. Wow. So surely I can't get over that. 84 times. It's kind of thrown me, that, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Wow. And the last one was a year ago?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've only been out of my house since December. So all year I had not left my home. Yeah. And that was in my move to the new city that I moved to. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Which obviously we're not going to mention, but absolutely amazing. Well, I'm so glad that you finally got away. I'm so glad that you're free. You look amazing, by the way. You look at peace.
Thank you.
You know, going
forward.
forward.
Yeah, definitely, I am.
Yeah. What's the biggest lesson you learned from everything you've been through to pass on to others?
Never give up. Never stop fighting. Take it one day at a time. Healing happens every day, a little bit at a time. You have a bad day, that's okay.
Yeah.
You got tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's tomorrow. You know, you can start over again. You know, it's not. It doesn't get easier. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. It doesn't get easier. It gets harder, but we get stronger. We do.
So talk to me about how you help other women.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Talk to me about how you help women.
I do a lot of public speaking. I have a lot of women that reach out to me just to like mentorship. And it's just showing them like they're not alone, because a lot of people feel like they're alone. You know, they feel like there's nowhere to go. Nobody's going to listen to them. They feel exiled, because that's how I felt. And it's just opening that door to allow them to be themselves, speak freely in a safe environment. Just being there, just being that, you know, just showing them like I'm still living. You can too. And I've been through hell and back many times, and I'm still here. So they still have a purpose, you know, just being there for them, because a lot of people, they're by themselves. They're alone.
Yeah. And many find that. I know that a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago, and just after I came over here, they took a bunch of Americans and some British soldiers back to the Japanese war camps. They used to keep them in. And the guy was going around interviewing him, saying how we felt. And he said, have you forgiven him? And most of them said yes. And there was an old lady there, and the interviewer asked, have you forgiven him? And she says, no. And he looked straight at her and moved in a little bit close to her, and he said, they still got you. And she says, they still got you. If you don't forgive them, they still have you captive. You need to let go of that shit. Is that the same with you? Have you let go of everything and forgived?
Yes, I've forgiven all of them. The only one that I have never came to face with after the fact would be, of course, the guy in captivity and my ex-husband, the first one. Other than that, I've seen a few of the guys that have hurt me, and they've actually apologized. And I'm like, wow, you know, I didn't expect that. But they have, and I'm like, it's okay. I've already forgiven you. I'm like, you got to forgive yourself and give it to God, because I had to live on. I had to be free. And for the very first time now, I'm actually free, and I'm living. I'm alive. I'm not stuck in that survival mode like I was before. Yeah, some of my things, I still got a bag packed in case I got to run someday. I still got tennis shoes by the bed. I still got a jacket there. That's still there. That's always going to be there until I don't know when, but that's still there, just those things. I don't know if they'll ever go. I hope they will, but I'm not sure. But if that's what's working for me, okay, that's good. But I mean, I'm actually alive for the first time. I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm just full of joy in life. And I wasn't before. I was just getting through the day,
So talk to me about how you help other women not become a target or be, in chronic victimization from abuse.
One of the things that I've shared with a lot of parents when it comes to the captivity issue, I tell them, pay attention to the surroundings. With women, I tell them, stay off their phones, because you're not paying attention. You're stuck in your phone. If you do have your phone on and you have headphones in, don't have the music on. Make it appear as though, okay, yeah, she's got headphones on, but they don't know if you got music on or not. Don't let it be like, where they're going to come and sneak attack you from behind. No, leave the music off, leave the headphones on so it appears that way, but pay attention to your surroundings. Always look at, if something's different, if you feel something different, then there's something different going on. Pay attention to people's demeanor, pay attention to people's hands, how they act around you. If you've been around that person before, has something changed since the last time? The tone in their voice, pay attention to that as well, because you can tell when someone's being, funny, if they're making a joke, or if they're actually insulting you. You can catch that stuff really well if you really paid attention to it. When you go places, always look at your exits. Where's my exit, just in case I got to get out of here. Fire extinguishers, where the fire extinguishers are. These are things I pay attention to all the time, because if I got to get out of there, I'm going to get out of there. Same thing. Where did you park? What vehicles are near you? Was there a van by you at that time? If there's a van there now, okay, I'm not going to my car now because something has changed. Pay attention to these things. Where are the police? Where are your fire departments? Where are your police stations? Look for those things. Always take note of those things. Find somebody that you can trust. If it's not your friend, guy or female that you're with, who else can you trust? Those kinds of things.
Great advice. I love that advice. I'm always, it drives my wife crazy. I'm always aware. I'm always looking when we walk down the street. I want to sit at the back of the restaurant when my back's in the wall so I can see everyone coming in. This goes back to my street days. You've just, the tone of voice. Wow, Jennifer, that's awesome. It's so true. The tone of voice, they got their hands in the pockets, their hands are out, the stance at the, all the stuff I'm aware of that. It drives my wife crazy. Guys, Jennifer Corona's on the show. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, guys, with Recovery Interventions. That was Recovery Begins Today. Recovery begins together. Give the gift of recovery. Travis knows what he's talking about, guys, from a Xanax seizure to a car crash, 120 miles an hour. He survived for a reason, and he's turned his life around. If a loved one is in trouble, call Travis 801-573-4188, or you can visit the website livingrecoveryinterventions.com. Remember, guys, recovery begins today. Recovery begins together. 801-573-4188. Jennifer just has a message from Karen T. over in California. She happens to be a friend of mine on some of the meetings we go on. She wants me to give you her phone number. So I'm going to get my girl to email it over to you after the show. I hope that's okay. But she seems to have some sort of connection with you. So that's awesome. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we've got about another 5 minutes left, guys. So tell me what brings you happiness today. What makes you get up every morning and go, okay, let's go.
The fact that I'm able to believe and see those possibilities now. I love unconditionally, regardless of what people do, or how people react or act, period, because of the love that I have inside of me, the love of Christ. I'm a Christian. I go everywhere and spread love and joy to people. And people look at me and they're like, how in the world can you even be around a man, after what's happening? And I'm like, it's not every man's fault. Everybody's different. You can't sit there and stay stuck in that mode. You're going to be unhappy. It's unhealthy. You stay in anxiety and a depression mode, and PTSD just takes over you and consumes you. No, I don't want that. I want to live. I want to be happy. I want to be free. And for the first time, I am free. I just got accepted to a university. So I'm working on a bachelor's degree now, and I want to be a criminal prosecutor. So those are dreams that I've always had that I'm pursuing and will continue to pursue until I finally do it, So, yeah.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. And excuse me, what I want to say too is that one of the things that happens is that from a young age, as a woman that this happened to as well, or a young girl, is I was groomed to please men. That was my whole point in life for the longest time. And sorry to say that that's not my purpose in life, is to please men
Amen.
today.
Right.
But I'm really curious, what do you want to leave women with today, our viewers, about what your purpose is, Jennifer?
Just live. We've been in survival mode for so long. It's time to get out of that and just breathe, finally breathe. Because I remember I would just like, I'm stuck. Like, okay, can I look this way? Am I going to upset him? Those are things that were registered in me. And, oh, no eye contact. Okay, put my head down. No, stand with your head up. Fight for what you want and you believe in. If you're in school, continue. That's one thing I did not let them take away. It took me 20 years just to get 2 associate's degrees. That's okay, though, because now I'm getting there. But that's one thing they tried to take from me every time was my education. And I was like, oh, no, they ain't getting that. They took everything else from me. They're not taking this. So I held on to it. I took leave of absence if I had to, but I continued and I kept going. Little, summer classes here, summer, whatever. But I did not let them keep that from me. They might have kept it for a little moment, but I took it back, so just fight for whatever it is that you want. And if it comes to your kids and you're in a messy situation and they take your kids from you, do whatever you got to do to get those kids back. But find that inside of you, whatever it is that's inside of you, gain that back, because they're going to take your confidence. They're going to take that piece of hope that you got left. They're going to tell you that you're nothing or you're worthless. No, we're going to get that back. We're taking that back now,
I love that, Jennifer. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Jennifer Corona was on the show, guys. Such an amazing person with a just unbelievable background that you need to look her up on LinkedIn. I'm going to post the LinkedIn link after we finish on Facebook, so you can all see it, guys. But for now, Jennifer, I want to recognize you for a few things. Thank you for being you, first of all. Thank you for educating people and moving forward in such a positive way. And the stuff you've been through, wow. I mean, that's just unbelievable that you're still fighting. And I think the biggest gift today for you is you're out there, you're doing what you got to do, and you're passing messages on of hope to obviously hundreds of thousands of women after the ripple effect we have. So thank you so much. Thank you for being on the show, and God bless you for the future, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer, for just being so courageous in your sharing of your story. And, fighting the good fight for us women out there, for really bringing the message across of what we need to do to protect ourselves, how we need to protect ourselves. But more than anything, you are a warrior for your wound. Your wound is your purpose. And thank you for allowing that to bubble up inside of you and spread it and share it with the world. So you are just a courageous, just strength and heart and love. I can see it. And I just nothing but blessings. And if there's anything that Dr. Rob and I can do to support you, please reach out to us. We'd love to co-create something with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, we'll be right back after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening on podcasts when you do. We want to just mention a couple of things. First of all, if you need a book, signed book from me and Jennifer, The Addiction Diaries from Jen, Daddy, Please Stop Drinking from me. If you live in the United States of America, just give us a shout. I know we've just sent one to Karen T. I think you got that yesterday, Karen, or the day before. Hope you really enjoy the read. And secondly, guys, you ever think about becoming a coach? You ever dream of that position after everything you've been through? A professional coach, even going out and doing this for a living with a fantastic course behind you? Well, listen, we're going to tell you something. Listen closely. Starting March, we're actually starting one. Recover Me Coaching is the place to be. It's a 10-week course. It's $4,500. A lot of people have asked me what the price is, but it's 100 hours, guys, and you get accreditation. There's also an exam at the end. You get a certificate as well. And then we're going to show you how to build your company. We're going to do teaching a lot of things in there, more than any other coaching service does, because we're going to be going into brain science. We're going to be going into brain spotting, and Jen's got some great stuff that no one's teaching out there, and so have I. So if you want to do that, recovermecoaching.com, or contact us on Messenger, and we'll give you all the details. How about that, Jen?
Yeah, baby. I'm excited. I can't wait to start this.
I know it's going to be absolutely awesome.
So
yes, definitely, guys. Listen, once again, guys. Thank you for listening. Jennifer was on the show. Such an amazing story. We will see you on Friday with a brand new guest. Watch our Facebook page. I'll be in Florida all week. I'll be in Florida on Friday. So obviously I'll be coming from Sunshine, and Jen will be on Sunshine by then. So hey, guys, from me, it's thank you so much indeed. And I'll see you on Friday.
Bye, guys. See you later.